Hello, 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 hello. How's everybody doing? So, I guess my mic didn't work. That's a good sign for things to come. Anywho, as I was saying, as my mouth was flapping and nothing was happening, welcome to the stream. Boy, this is a great start. So, usually when I start these streams, I do a little bit of a rundown of everything that's been happening and why I've been absent or what my plans for the stream are, or whatever else. But I have noticed that most of you tend to show up a little bit later. So, in order for me to repeat myself as little as possible, I'm not going to yap all that much at the start. So I feel like, well, it saves a little bit of material as we go through things. But let me just quickly do a little bit of setup here. I am, unfortunately, a little less prepared today than I usually am, and I will go through why that is as we go along. First things first, though. I thought I had changed everything, but I have not. The info on the screen is wrong, so I'm fixing that real quick. Let's see. New and old outfits. Hit save on that. That should update, and everything should be hunky-dory. What the hell is hunky-dory anyway? I never figured that part out. And let's see. Program is correct. Everything else should be correct. Okay. Good stuff. Man, I thought this couldn't be less professional if I tried, but here we are. Alright, so I'll briefly summarize what it is that I'm going to be doing, and then we'll do a repeat once people. Holy crap. It is not that late in the day. Once people start showing up, and we'll just take it from there. Anywho, this is what we will be working on today. So here we are. Now, this doesn't look like much. I am aware. This is, of course, if you're familiar with the stream, this is Mira. Mira is just a random character that showed up and just won't leave. And she's also not work, so that's why I just end up drawing her every once in a while. And the thing is, let me just see if I can move Otis away, because it seems a little inappropriate without the music. The thing is, I have drawn her quite a bit at this point. Like, I have several, many paintings. In fact, you can see there's like all of this stuff that's been accumulating. This isn't even all of them. And every time I make a new painting, I make a new outfit, because that's kind of like the appeal to me, just something random that I can throw together. And I realized I've never made a compilation of all of them. And the thing is, I did start very briefly with a sort of, this is a turnaround for Mira. I do have a version where you can see sort of the back and the outfit. And in doing so, I made kind of like a random base. And that's what this is. So here you have sort of Mira in her PJs, kind of a thing. And I actually did end up making a painting out of that. Let me see if I can find it for you. Where is that? Here. This is the one. So I kind of recycled that outfit for this like random painting that I did. And nothing particularly special. It was just kind of like, neat. I can use that thing that I have lying around. That kind of thing. But the thing is, I have all of these other outfits. So I just thought, well, can't I make the rest of them? So I started looking through what I have, and I do have the second painting. Let me just see if I can find that. That would be this one. is this is the second painting I ever did of Mira, where she's wearing this kind of like climber's outfit. Very rabbit bunny-esque kind of a thing. So I grabbed that and I drew that on the same base. So now we have this as well. And then from there, I was like, okay, what else do I have in my pile here? Ah, yeah, we have the outfit from the canyon painting that I did, which has all of these like different like intricate elements and things. So of course I made that one as well. So now we have that. And some of these I had to make a little bit of an adjustment because, well, they don't necessarily translate so well outside of their very specific context. So this is kind of where this one's at. This one was also a little bit awkward because the ears kind of have to like shove out of the sort of hoodie thing. So that had to be fixed a little bit. But then we get to a point where, well, I have a ton more. So I just deactivated all of these, and I have now made the coat one, which is, let me see, where could it be? Where did I hide it? Ah, yes, this one, where she wears sort of like this thick coat for winter weather and has one of these like slinky mink things sort of living on her head, so it works sort of as a hoodie. So we have that one, that's already done. Then we have the one from the gecko painting, which is sort of like a full dress piece kind of a thing. And that's kind of where we're at now. So I'm working on this one, which is the piece from the pillow delivery painting that I did. And I will also probably be adding like one or two of these other ones because these are the ones that are left. This is just kind of a variation of the PJs, which is not all that interesting. We had the very first one that I did of like Proto Mira, which I could potentially do. But it seems a little odd since she was kind of half-baked. And then we have the one where her hair's all grown out, which I could potentially do. So we'll see. I'm already pretty far along in the process already. So this is more so like a, why don't I just do this live kind of a thing. So that's what we're doing. I am going to find some jams. And then I guess I'll just start. Of course, we are going to be running into the same problem that we have a couple of times, which is YouTube is being YouTube. So I'm going to try and not have us be blasted with ads, but I can't promise anything. So I'm going to go for full soundtracks. Let's see here. Is this the... Yeah, this is the NES version. I'd rather have the... Let's see. There, can I have that as a full playlist, please? Yes. There we go. Give me that whole thing. This is probably going to be pretty low. There. And then you can just let me know if I need to adjust anything. Let's see, are we all set? I think that's everything, right? Yeah. Alright, I'm just going to start there. And then I guess we'll just see what happens when people discover that this is live and I have to repeat this whole thing all over again. Let's see. Pen is working as intended. There we go. Okay. Where was I with this thing? Let's see. So the problem with this one, at least as far as my brain can make it, is that it's not necessarily a mistake, but I feel like it doesn't translate well. You can kind of see over here, the sort of the cleft of the hat stops here, and then this is the middle of the head. So it's sort of like side parted, I guess. But it doesn't really translate that well from the other angle. Like I tried a couple of different versions where it was kind of more in the middle, and gotta be honest, looked pretty bad. So I don't think I'll be doing that. I'm gonna attempt to kind of... Oh shit, that's not the wrong brush. I'm gonna attempt to give this a little bit more definition in a way that feels more pleasing to this kind of setup. I'm still a little unsure if the size of the hat is a good shape, but we'll figure that out as we go. With any luck, we will have all of these designs done today. And there really isn't all that much that needs to be done. Once these things are lined and completed, then I can really just color them relatively quickly and apply the usual filters that I use for the Mira artworks. But I mean, every time I do one of these live streams, I'm like, yeah, we're totally gonna have a bunch of these done. And somehow that just never seems to happen. So we're just gonna have to roll with it. Let's see, there's these tassel things on the back that I want to get in there. And these kinds of shapes are always very deceptively simple. There's something about tassels, if you can get them to overlap in a way that feels satisfying, it feels so much better. But figuring out exactly how you want that pattern to go is... I guess there's a method to it. Eventually your brain settles in and you kind of figure out where it is that you want things to go. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Need something that's a little bit more tight-packed than that. Also, they would probably fall a little bit more flat down, wouldn't they? Like something like that. And again, there's going to be quite a lot of elements here of just going up and cleaning up small random bits and bobs as I go along. Frankly, that has been my day for the past couple of weeks. Like random cleanup on very strange things. But I'll leave that for a little bit later. I feel like there's quite a bit that I have the opportunity to talk about, because quite a lot has happened since I did the last live stream. I think that's also kind of why I'm so, like, out of it. Usually I feel like I'm a little bit more prepared for the start of these things, but today was genuinely just like, I gotta do this now or I ain't doing it. Let's see. Maybe I could have like one that's a little wild. Something like, maybe not right there. You do definitely want variation if you're doing this kind of thing, though. Makes it pleasing to the eye. Have something to break up the pattern. Yeah, something more like that, I think. Let's see, let's set that to a 6 brush. And then we just start adding little cleanups to it. Honestly, feels like this tassel is the weakest link on this whole thing. Does it taper in at the top? I kind of feel like it does. Maybe I should emphasize that a little bit. So something like that, maybe? Yeah. It is kind of a weird little structure, this whole thing. Let's see. I think that's kind of the thing with this kind of design as well. Just talking about the tassel specifically, it's one of those things I don't really think too much about as I'm making it, because it's more about, can I make something that is, at the very least, visually interesting to look at in sort of the grand scheme of the whole painting. And of course, when I have to come back for something like this, and I have to consider all the different shapes and everything, it becomes kind of a different story. Let's see. This, I feel like I could make that a little wider, just to make that shape a little bit more satisfying. Yeah, like that. Again, it's not a particularly complicated design, this one. I do feel like, let me just emphasize these a little bit more. I do feel like there's some small elements here that is probably going to be the headache part. Like, I'm probably not going to add all the, like, the giant pillow bag thing. That's probably going to be a bit too much. I added the backpack here, but... Or... What is that? I think it's like a... sleeping bag kind of a thing. But I don't really think that'll work too well with this one. It'll be too large. I might consider adding the bags. We'll see. It comes down to what makes the most sense for this particular shape. Is that... Why is that there? Oh, it's the arm on the inside. Right. Just have to make sure that I don't erase something that's actually necessary. So for clarity, what I'm doing right now is that I am I'm going to be merging these layers down in a second. But there are some lines that I've kept just because it helps using it as a ruler. Let's see, I can keep that, but not that. And then further down here, let's see. Yeah, there's this whole business. You know what? I should probably do a backup of this because I'm going to have to erase. Whoop. Oh yeah, no, that actually does go away. I'm gonna have to erase all of this so that I can see what I'm doing, essentially. I do love me some big-ass pants, though. I mean, worked on a game for 10 or so years with a protagonist with giant pants. I do not regret it. Big pants are worth it. Okay, so there's all of this. I think I can just make that the correct size now. Yep, like that. Is there an overlap? Yes, there is. That needs to go away. That probably could go away as well. All these other elements, I think, are where they need to be. This hand shouldn't be there. Okay. Let's try adding some of the, well, whatever they are. Like copper disc things? They are pressed in a little bit on the fabric. But we'll see if that works. It worked in the painting itself because it sort of gives a little bit more volume, but it's not necessarily practical in a clothing setting, so we'll see. So they should be there, or else they won't be able to like be bound around the leg properly. I don't think they can be any higher than that. I'll just flip that real quick. Yeah, still looks fairly accurate. Let's see. I think I might make these a little bit smaller. They're a little bit chunky as of now. So maybe something more like that. Maybe that makes more sense. Okay, there we are. So something like that. I feel like this is very much a trust the process kind of a thing. So I'll just try to add these in here first, and then I'll just start making adjustments as I go. Let's see. Yeah, they're a little bit large on that one side. Let me just do a quick skew on them, if it'll allow me to do that. See, you can't see this right now. I'm just on a different screen. So maybe here. Don't worry, there's magic happening. Let's see. Like that, maybe. Yeah, but now the position is a little bit off. But maybe if I take that and move it up a little bit. Yeah, I feel like they should wrap around the leg, like, in a way that you can see. Which means I should do the same thing for the other leg. So if we go back into my magic screen, then I grab these and I move them. Again, you can't see this right now, but you will in a second. It might be too far down. Let's find out. Yeah, that's pretty good. Can I move those up a little bit? Like, there's about... Yeah, looks about right. And probably the hands should be behind them because they are the frontmost object in view. Now, of course, the reference that I'm using right now is a little unusual in that it's fully shaded. I usually try to emulate more of the, like, cell animation type style. Which is how I'm going to be shading all of these once the line art is complete. But it does mean that there are certain things that don't work too well with that sort of rendering style. For example, this whole business here with like squished fabric and anything, I could do something like that, like this kind of a thing. But I have a suspicion that it will just read like noise. So I'm going to try and be a little bit careful about that. So maybe not right now. I might be able to add just a tiny bit of... Oh, I don't know. Some shadows or something to give it definition. Isn't this just the way? Like, you're sitting there trying to essentially paint a perfect circle freehand. And you might be thinking, well, why don't you just use a tool for that? But most of the time, I find that by the time I've pulled out a tool, I'm already done with the task. Like, you can just kind of grit your teeth and do it manually from the start. The difference being if you end up doing it for like a very long and meticulous task. Then of course, measuring things and making sure that you have everything in order from the start is probably the way to go. You know what? I'm going to back up that layer and I'm just going to erase some of this stuff so that I can see where everything goes. I might start erasing with a hard brush because the lines are coming out a lot more blurry than I would like them to. There we go. Is that my screen or is that... Yep, that is just my monitor. Greatest enemy of every digital artist. The smudge on the screen. Let's see here. Okay, I'm not going to focus too much on those because I feel like the shape is correct here. So moving on to these ones. So hopefully everyone in chat is having a good, what is it today? Monday? It's a bit of a strange day, if I'm being perfectly honest, because it's been getting a lot nicer out. So we've actually had a couple of days of really nice weather. And then we keep getting these forecasts that everything is going to get unbelievably cold. So there's been news over and over and over again saying that, okay, so get ready for next week because there's a massive wind chill coming in, so don't you get your spring attitude out there. You have to prepare for another, like, week of cold or frost or freeze or whatever else it's going to be. And gotta be honest, it's just gorgeous and pleasant outside right now. I don't know if where I live just avoided that whole thing, or if the prediction was wrong, or whatever happened, but I'm just happy to have some sunlight again, honestly. I think most people that live in a more northern climate can kind of relate. It's, there's something about the summer months, the spring, summer, very early fall, that kind of thing. Because we get more sunlight here, the closer towards summer you get. And it's that psychological boost, where it's like the sun is still out, which means I can still do stuff. I mean, winter has its advantages too. I'm not too, like, down on winter like a lot of people are, but there is something about the lack of sunlight. Like, not even the vitamin D thing, or seasonal depression, or whatever it is that people associate with it. Me, it's mostly just kind of this element of, well, I got out of bed and it's already dark out. It feels like the day is over and I have no time left to do stuff. It's not true. It's a lie. You have that whole day, but I don't know. There's something that sort of like messes with your brain and tells you that you've already used all of your day points. Hey, Guardian. How's it going? I see no other messages. Oh yeah, no, chat's just been quiet today. I chalk it up to being a Monday. The entire plan for me was to stream on Friday, but frankly, I did not feel like I had it in me to do that. So since I have Mondays off, it was just kind of like, well, today's the day. We're doing it now. My hope, of course, is that I'll be able to do a little bit more streaming moving forward. But there's a couple of complications. But I'll get more into that as the stream progresses. Right now, just to summarize for the few of you that have arrived a little late, I am currently painting all of the different outfits that my character Mira has been wearing in all of the paintings that she's been starring in. So we are currently doing the, what is it? The pillow delivery one. So we have these 3 other ones, and I've already finished 4 other ones. We have the basic, just indoor. We have the PJs that I used as sort of the base when I started to sort of make her turnaround. We have the second painting where she wears this sort of like almost bunny outfit with her climbing gear. And then we have the one with the for the canyon painting, which had this like giant sword and all these other small knickknacks. So I've got the gecko and coat one in, and we're doing the pillows one, and then I might add one of 2. It's either going to be, well, probably going to be the long-haired one, if I'm being honest, but maybe we'll do her, like, proto-design thing. We'll see. I might add more in the future, but right now it's more so I want to make sure that I at least get 2 pairs of 4, and then we'll see. Lined up with a bunch of lore. I don't really know how much lore one can gather from all of this. Maybe, I feel like it's a bit of an exercise when you're making these sorts of characters, that once you start going back and looking at them again, it's like, oh yeah, that's probably what this means. Frankly, that's been my experience with Tomodachi for the past... Oh, how long have I been playing it now? I think it's 8 days that it's been out. I downloaded it the day it came out, and me and my spouse have been playing it pretty much non-stop since then. It's been a really good time. But I guess it sort of plays into what I was just saying about sort of lore creating itself, kinda. Because, well, frankly, I have a bunch of characters that are sort of throwaway. Okay, so how do I explain this? I've sort of talked about this before, and currently I am going through a bit of a struggle, and it's probably why you haven't seen so much of my stuff online lately. And the thing is, it frankly has not been fun to share art online. Like, if something does fairly well, I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to end up being copy and pasted by a bunch of groups, and that's not a fun feeling, to have worked hard on something and just, like, being added to a stock folder somewhere. So I am currently sort of in the process of trying to figure out, like, what is it that I enjoy about making art? Like, what is the incentive for me to do this? Like, as a sort of like a public figure kind of a thing. But in the process of that, um, because I do a lot of like actual work. So I have a bunch of characters that are not. I call them throwaway characters, but it's more so like they don't really have any particular purpose right now. And I realized that what I could do was just throw them into Tomodachi Life and see what happens. So me and my spouse have been kind of going through this thing where Julie will add one of their comic characters, and I will add one of my like really random characters that I have never used for anything, kind of a thing, and then just see what happens. And it's been really interesting because they are, in big quotation marks, throwaway characters. Now suddenly we have these interactions between characters that really should never, or we could never have conceived happen. And it sort of suddenly makes me have to reconsider, like, okay, but who are they as a person? And it's been kind of an interesting, I won't even say creative exercise, just like a thought experiment, I guess. Tomodachi Life, I've seen a couple of screens, mostly character creation, and I love memes. Yeah, there's a lot of... how do I say this in a nice way? It feels like a lot of people do very, like, parasocial stuff. There's a lot of people that just, like, add actual people to this game. And there's the whole, like, meme thing as well, which doesn't really appeal to me. Like, what's a meme character? Why would I care what Shrek is doing? Like, I have no connection to Shrek. That kind of thing. So, I find it a lot more interesting when it's something that can make me think, I suppose. Let's see. If I'm still training and I haven't released a single full art, I was thinking something similar today. Doing this spiral theme goddess detailed her quite a bit. Will people expect this to be a returning character, not a single illustration? I think people gravitate towards what they like. And if they like something, then they will ask about it again. Like, I think that the most prime example is the quote-unquote long woman that I made. Another, like, quotation mark throwaway character. It was a painting that I just never made for Mira. And it was just okay, I'm just gonna make the design first and then maybe I'll draw something of her later. But it's this lady right here, her. Because I thought it was a neat idea, so I just drew this character and I'm like, huh, maybe I can make like a painting or something, or something off of her at some other point. Never got around to it. I might at some point, but it was just kind of like, here's this thing. I received more fan art of this character than I have of Mira and Donny Friday combined. It's so weird. But it's kind of like, people like what they like. And it's sort of your own... it's kind of on your own terms whether or not you want to like, indulge in other people's fancies, I suppose. I understand them. I mean, people like a long lady. Who can blame them? Um, I was saying something, and now I have no idea where I was going with this. Hold on, I just have to fix a thing, because these circle-like things have been misaligned. Let's see, I'm just on another screen, you will be able to see in a second, don't worry about it. Let's see... There we go, that's a little better. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so it allows... having these characters in Tomodachi means that we get a lot of like really weird scenarios that I wasn't expecting. And it has made me have to consider some things about my characters. So, as an example, just to throw something out there. So of course, one of the first things I did was I put the Dawnster, put Donny Friday in there. So he's having a great time. Ended up being full on married to one of my spouse's characters. It was interesting. Works surprisingly well in a really weird sense. And of course I ended up throwing Mira in there. I think I didn't spend too much time on this design. It was just kind of like, I'll throw her in there. She's probably the most random one out of all the ones I have in there. But there she is. Little goober. Like I said, didn't put too much time into it, so we got little like dots for ears kind of a thing. So that's been kind of fun. Just seeing how the different characters interact and everything that happens. But it's also really weird because without going into too much detail, like the entire thing, as far as I consider Mira as a character, and you have to remember, I never really made Mira with all that much story in mind. It's mainly for the paintings, but I still build up some ideas on what these characters are supposed to be and everything. And her whole thing is that she doesn't deal with people. Like, just doesn't hang around others, and just gets flustered when she has to like deal with social situations or anything. She's like, her whole thing is she does her tracking and then she just lives on her mountain by herself. So I have never like drawn her saying a line of dialogue. I've implied it in some post descriptions, but that's about it. And that's sort of reflected in the character that we put down. And then my spouse's cheerleader character just like straight up adopted her, and they were best friends, which was like, huh. I didn't really consider any of that because it's sort of like I haven't really thought about what this character's social life would be, or if there could be a dynamic that would function with them as a person. Because it's sort of, I think more of things in themes, more so than I do in like very specific scenarios. So having Mira just going out and hanging out with like their best friend who's a chatterbox was kind of like, huh, all right, yeah, I guess that can happen. I don't know. It was neat. Let's see, I think I have a picture of that too. I know, very, very interesting stream showing like phone screen caps and stuff, but let's see. There we go. best friends just hanging out, having a good time, chatting about eggs, I guess. I'm surprised about the personalization the game offers. Yeah, no, it's pretty varied. I'm honestly really like it's certainly limited in how many interactions you can make happen. But even so, uh, I think the fun of it comes from just seeing characters that should not interacting, and then just having that wreak havoc on the whole social dynamic. I'm a bit lost if the best friend in the game is someone just in the game or someone you designed in the past. Hold on, moving my chair. That is my spouse's character. Someone named Carrie. So it's not something that I designed for the game itself. That me and my spouse have been taking turns just adding random characters that we have. Well, not for them. They have a comic that they do, so they'll add some of the characters from their comic, and I will add from my vast pool of random goobers that I just have on my hard drive that I don't know what to do with. Current drama is I've added 2 rodent characters that I've just had lying around. I have a rat person called Rachel. I had this idea of like a character that lives on a space station, and I didn't have anything that I could use her for, so I just threw her in there. And then yes, Rachel starts with the rat. I'm very clever. Just wait for the other part. So we threw that character in there, and then I added another character who is a scam artist and a serial criminal whose entire thing is that she impersonates other people, and she is a mouse, not a rat. What did I call her? Mad Mouse Owl, because I'm very funny. Her actual name is Francine. I can't help myself. Sometimes it's just so dumb that you have to keep it. It's how it works. To my shock, she did not try to scam anyone on the island or steal any of their valuables. I am grief-stricken and my whole day is ruined. But we have added some very random characters too. We had some like little bats that sit on our coffee table, and we were bored, so Julie suggested, how about we make those into just characters that could walk around. It's been a rough couple of months, so it's been a pretty good good outlet. That's why I'm talking about it so much. I actually quite like their designs. Hold on, I think I have a thing that I could show. Give me 2 seconds. It should be on the desktop somewhere. Oh yeah, there they are. Let's see. I'll just throw this into OBS proper. Why not? I thought these two were kind of fun. So we had 2 We have two little, like, bats that have been sitting on our coffee table. One's pink and one's blue. So, we each took a stab at making a little me, and we made one each. I made the blue one, and Julie made the pink one, and I was bored yesterday, so I just drew them. So here they are. Oops, that is a very large image. Oop. Can I do this in a way that isn't? Nope, I have to do it the awkward way, okay. There they are. So just some weird little goobers. Blue and pink bat. I think I emphasized a little bit of like a moon and sun theme, which I thought was kind of fun. No idea what I'll use them for. They just exist now. They will forever live on my hard drive. Let's see, I just need to move this down so I can see it. Gotta get those shoes in. Cute. Yeah, I thought they were, I mean, for what they are, I thought they were neat. So I don't know. That has been kind of my go-to for the past couple of days. I think now would probably be a good time for some summary, because I mentioned it at the start of the stream, but I wanted to wait a little bit with giving an update on things until people had settled in a little bit more. Because you've probably noticed that I haven't been present for maybe 2 months. And I also... we've been slowing down a little bit at D-Pad as well. Our social media presence has slowed down a little bit. And it's a combination of a lot of things. So we had some internal deadlines that we had to take care of in March, and I'm happy to say that we completed those. So some good progress on liking some trampolines. I'm happy with where that's going, and I think we're in a pretty good spot with that. But that was a kind of a tough deadline to hit. So the idea was that I was going to take off some time in April. So it was already kind of planned that we were going to like wind down a little bit before picking things back up again after like a week or so. So that was what the plan was. Without going into any detail, because it's not necessary, the truth is that we've had people staying here for somewhere in the ballpark of a month or two. And we've just been trying to help some people out. There's been a lot of things that have been happening on the sidelines, but unfortunately that does mean that there's been a few things that we've had to take care of in conjunction with that. So because of that, things have been delayed a little bit on my part. I think it's been difficult to juggle several things at once. So some things that we had planned to do for April and moving into May have been pushed back a little bit, and things are thankfully still on track. We've got all of our ducks in a row, every box is ticked, like everything is fine. It's just we have to things are pushed back a little bit while we try to figure out like, what is the next step. Thankfully, the next step is really obvious because I will be heading to Bit Summit. So that is in Kyoto, Japan. We have been there, what was it now? I think it's actually 10 years ago that we were there last, when we showcased Owlboy. So we'll be bringing Vikings and Trampolines there, and showcasing the game on not just one, but 2 booths. And that will be... Oh, am I misremembering? I think it's on the 21st? Either 21st or the 22nd. So I don't know how many people are from the chat room are going to be in Kyoto, but we will certainly be there. And I'm really pleased about it because I love Kyoto. Like we've done Tokyo a couple of times now, and I do enjoy Tokyo, but there's something like very special about Kyoto and just the atmosphere of it. And it's been quite a while since I was out traveling too. Things have been a little bit of a mess for the past while now, and we've had to prioritize as much as we can for specifically development. And we're at a point now where we can start just showing the game a little bit more, but there's still like the pressure of wrapping the thing up so that we have time for all of this other promotion. And I think that's the challenge with everything right now that we're trying to solve, is that we have these games that we want to make, that we want to showcase to people, but we don't actually have time to sit there and like do this constant blabbing that you're now required to do on the internet. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what will happen when we go to Kyoto and we showcase this game a little bit in person. Because it's kind of difficult to get an idea of what the vibe of it is in places like Tokyo Game Show, because Tokyo Game Show is very much for that crowd. Like, it's a type of group that I don't know how to phrase this properly. It feels very businessy, which is probably what you want out of a conference, but I always prefer places where things are a little bit more laid back, because it allows us to chat with people a little bit more and get a feel for how people interact with the stuff that we make. So even though I don't speak a lick of Japanese, I still found Bit Summit to be really chill. At least it was 10 years ago, so. But I'm going to make the bold assumption that it might be something similar to last time. I guess we'll find out. There are quite a few things that are ramping up right now. We have Bit Summit, and that's gonna, of course, be a larger one because we have to travel all the way there and all the way back. So that's a long trip from Norway. And then after that, we're doing Magicon, which is more of a local thing. So we kind of want to get a feel for how the Norwegian market feels about the game as well. And then, big fingers crossed, maybe we'll do Gamescom as well. Like we've sort of prematurely announced it, because I am pretty convinced that we are gonna do our damnedest to get in. But there's never a guarantee, so there's unfortunately a lot of hard work that's gonna go into having all of these things set up. Years ago, so 1990. Yeah, no, I know how you feel. It's still wild to me that 10 years ago is still not before the millennium anymore. Like that does not compute in my head. To be fair, you gotta give us a little bit of a break. Like, that whole millennium shift thing really messes with your head when you're thinking about numbers. Pretty much everyone that was born, not born, but was around during the millennium shift, to any, like, noticeable degree, had that whole thing pounded into your head over and over. That's like, it's the change of the millennium. Like, it has now been so long that the dates have changed. It's like, we're in a different century, all of that kind of thing. And the fact that that's past now, and there's now just like more time, feels weird. Did you bring the decaf?
Yes.
Thank you.
Did you close the cat door? The window?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Because she wants to go in the basement.
Oh, yeah, no, the window's closed.
She can scream.
Thank you. I got me some decaf. Because it is 10 in the evening, and I don't need to be caffeinated right now. Let me see. I feel like these need to be a little bit sharper. Like, there's supposed to be a pattern here. Like that. Yeah, that looks better. Alright. You gotta draw them shoes. You gotta draw them shoes. Stop caffeine at 3 p.m. I usually have my last cup at around 6. I mean, to be fair, caffeine doesn't really do anything to me. If anything, it can sometimes make me a bit drowsy. It really just comes down to what I've eaten. And yes, I know that that could be a sign of ADHD and all of those other things, but I'm not going to speculate on that kind of stuff. As of right now, I really just think you get a little bit overhyped when you have too much coffee, so... Yeah, no. I used to drink way too much coffee, and the decaf has helped sort of stave that off a little bit. Hey, look at! Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Yeah, we're moving. I have no idea if these shoes would be as practical to wear on ice, but I did like the idea of the hinge mechanism, so you can still get like the bend in your foot, like having it move with the arch. Just a sip of energy drinks will keep me awake for long. Energy drinks are a very different beast. Okay. Not that I really need to go down that road, but sometimes I'm just like, they really just need to either ban or regulate the ever-living hell out of those things, because they are absolutely awful for you. I mean, having been around kids when I'm teaching classes and everything, kids are so hyped up on those things that they can barely function, and there's nobody regulating them from having it. And it's like, yeah, you're free to make your own decisions and everything, but I've seen them sell those things in the candy aisles at toy stores. Just I mean, live your life and they're your kids and everything, but those things are strong. Like they're potent. Every time I've had one of those things that, like, I just feel jittery. Ain't my thing. I can't even imagine what it would be like if I had those when I was a teenager. Holy shit. Did a couple of tastes with the new brands and flavors, darn strong. Yeah, and I feel like it multiplies because it's in conjunction with a lot of other things. And usually, unfortunately, there's that whole self-moderation thing, and people just keep drinking them. Like, I cannot drink 3 cups of coffee in one go. I just can't. Like, it does things to your stomach. It just ain't gonna happen. But I'm pretty sure that if you wanted to, you could down 3 of those cans. I mean, this is what everyone comes to these streams for, right? Insightful commentary about what teenagers should do with energy drinks. Something that I'm very... I'm an expert on this kind of thing. Let's see, was that it? Yeah, I don't think I'll add the pouches to this one. It's probably better to just not have them on there. Let's merge down these layers. I think it's time. Time to put on the educational tag. I have heard from people that they find these streams educational, but I don't know exactly in what way. I mean, if you need some rambling ASMR, maybe. Oh, well. Well, the, just to sort of finish that thought, because, it ended up being a little bit of a segue, but, so, I mentioned that I haven't really gotten a lot done because I've been trying to help out a few different people that have been in kind of somewhat tough situations. And it's not really important what it is, and it's not really important what we did. The important thing is they needed some help, and thankfully we could be there to support it a little bit. But I get pretty easily distracted from this kind of thing, and I wear out pretty quickly. So during the past, like, almost 2 months, I haven't really been able to look at much art. I've just been too worn out, unfortunately. So instead, I've been doing a little bit of programming. And I actually did end up making a small project that might turn into something interesting later down the line. We'll see. I sort of vague posted about it on, I believe it was Blue Sky, but unfortunately, because of the themes that I picked for it, because I reused some assets that I had lying around, because, like I mentioned, I didn't really have the capacity to make new stuff. So because of that, I can't really share any details about it, because I have a suspicion that a few people would maybe get the wrong idea, and then we'd have a very different problem on our hands. So, just to make sure that people don't take an idea and run with it, I'm going to keep my little micro project a secret for now. And then, I guess just keep that in mind for later. It would not surprise me in the slightest if that shows up again at some point. So, I guess this is where you heard it first. And, we'll see what happens. It was kind of interesting, though, because I can't really deal with numbers. I'm not a numbers guy. So, having to figure out math formulas and stuff is not really my forte, but turns out I managed to find some pretty interesting wiggle room with the engine that I was using to create some funky things. Of course, I know that if I handed it over to someone that is actually competent with programming, that I would figure it out in like 2 days. But I don't know. For me, creating something that complex in a week was it was kind of fun. Butter chopping shoes. You know, I was just talking about how I don't know if these are particularly practical for anything. You figured out what their use is. This would be it. I guess they'd have to maybe sharpen the insides, because this... I mean, they're kind of flat, so I'm assuming you would just kind of mush the butter then? I mean, if your intent is just like squished butter, then that could work. Meat tenderizer shoes, there we go. So that's what the teeth are for, not to slide on butter. I mean, they're ice cleats, but we can go with that. Oh, I should put that on when I'm done with that. Remind me to put on Kid Cleats after this. The soundtrack is really good. butter slips are no joke. I think this is fine to say. Of course, I wasn't there to experience it myself, but I've been told this story many times. Apparently, my mother-in-law, genuinely, not as a joke, not as a like, as a gag or someone put it there, she genuinely slipped and fell on a banana peel. Like, someone just left it in the street, she didn't see it, she walked over it, and she did like a cartoon slip. Apparently it hurt a lot, so, I mean, it's a genuine... Hello, am I back? Alright. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So the cable for this thing is starting to die, and hopefully this will not happen multiple times during this stream. I'll have to replace it. That is the unfortunate truth of using streamer mics, is that they eat cords like they're frickin' breakfast. I do have a Blue Yeti that I use every once in a while, and I really like that microphone. It actually has really good sound quality, but the reason why I'm using this one is because the Blue Yeti keeps eating the cords. It short-circuits them. It's apparently a really common problem. So every time we do the anniversary streams, for example, we record it with the Blue Yeti, and every single damn time we have to buy a new cord because it's short-circuited the one. And the way that it happens is that it'll short-circuit it as you plug it in. It'll get like a surge and then pop the whole cord. So this one, so far, has managed to keep this cord alive, but I guess it was a little bit much to hope for. This is one of those like big-ass chunky printer cords, which for some reason is kind of the standard for microphones. So it's not expensive to get another one, it's just really annoying. So hopefully I won't have to do that. We'll see. We know it's not possible for Simon to have hardware issues during his streams. Yeah. Yeah, no. I think if I actually did this professionally, I would spend a lot more time prepping these streams. Genuinely, like, what I'm doing right now and everything that I've done today, it was really just like, I have 3 hours left in the day. For once, I'm not dead tired. If I'm gonna stream, I gotta do it now. So it's just like, get all my little things set up and hit go as fast as humanly possible before that moment passes and there's no more time. It's also why, unfortunately, I keep... It's... You have to understand, chat. I am, unfortunately, like, in the middle of extremely tense things for development, and my brain is just like, it's about 50% there most of the time. I really, really wish that I had it in me to do more things and prep more things, but I gotta do something about this, like, tiredness at some point. Because, Like, you just get stuck in these patterns where it's, finally you get to the point where it's like, it's the weekend, I can do whatever I want, and you just, like, zonk out for 2 or 3 days. It all passes in the blink of an eye, and you're like, oh shit, I was supposed to do something fun. And then it's like, well, it's time to go back to paperwork and, animating for this thing that has a deadline, this week. Good luck! But I think that kind of comes back to that thing I was talking about earlier, where it's trying to find what the incentive of all of this is. Like, okay, so hear me out for a second. The reason why I posted things online before and just did like fun random things was because it was relatively easy to just throw something out there and people could find you and talk to you, and you'd find like-minded people and you'd discuss things that you actually cared about, and that was sort of the online experience. And at present, the way that it works is I can spend an exorbitant amount of time making the things that I like to make, like the big mock-ups that I do. I love doing those. The problem is, and I gotta be honest here, because I mean it's on the live stream, so I feel like it's a lot easier to be a bit more candid here. People just copy paste stuff from those mockups and then play them off as if they're their own. Sometimes they even sell them. Like, I've come across projects that have nearly one-to-one used stuff that I've drawn. And if people think that I don't know, I'm aware. Like, I know when people just copy-paste my stuff and put it into their own thing. And it's really disheartening, because I don't really want to have, like, that kind of discussion with people. It's just kind of, I'm doing things for fun, and then it turns into this, like, profit run for people, where they try to gather clout by using the stuff that I made for fun as a jumping off point. It's just, it makes it really uninteresting for me to share that kind of thing. And I mean, it's also very obvious. The type of colorblindness I have, it's very clear when people have just sampled my stuff. So it's just, it means that there's not all that much incentive for me to do that. So if I haven't made a lot of those mockups lately, it's like I have to weigh whether or not I'm going to be spending maybe like a few weeks working on something just to have someone copy paste it and pretend it was their own thing. So it's like, okay, so that doesn't feel particularly fun to do. What else can I make? Well, gigantic paintings, the kind that I like, take very long. And, you know, in the world of social media engagement and all that, you need to be fast. So you just need to pump out a lot of stuff. And that means that spending a long time making something, that means I have to find, like, a venue to promote it instead of just showing it to people and then they go, wow, that's neat, and then showing other people and thinking that's neat. So it becomes this, like, I have to think of a promotional angle to a painting? That's so weird. Like, that really does suck the fun out of that. So it's like, every once in a while I'll do it because I really enjoy doing it, but it's also like, it just becomes work instead of just something fun. So that's also like that's not particularly enjoyable for me in forms of art. Okay, how about like the community then? Like just like sharing things around groups and stuff. Well, those are kind of split a lot in recent years, and it's really difficult to meet, talk about the things that are fun to do. So there's a lot of things currently that makes it very difficult to like sit there and go, I am going to spend a lot of time on something that I really enjoy. And when I make designs that I am very proud of, I genuinely have to sit there and weigh the pros and cons of showing that design, and whether or not someone is going to sit there and attempt to exploit that for something. Which is just... it's not really the way that I like to think about the stuff that I work on. Like, the thing is, if you're not in that position, usually what you get told is just like, well, you're not supposed to care. Just don't care about things and you will feel a lot better. And there is truth to that. But, I mean, right now, what would be fun to me is have something that, like, what is that? Something that sparks joy. That's kind of what I'm looking for right now. Just like, this really kicks me into gear and makes me want to, like, make stuff and push the envelope of things. And if I'm getting, what I'm getting back for that is, maybe it will work out this time? That's not really a good, payback for that kind of work. The only other thing that I've thought of that is sort of like maybe it could be something was if I set this up as a Patreon or something. But again, now we're changing this from being how can I have fun by just making things on the side to, well, this is a job now. And I already know what my job is. My job is to make games about little owls and Vikings and stuff. So it's a very strange thing to sort of have to consider. So I think that's probably something that I'll have to be thinking about moving forward. What venue makes sense, and what incentivizes good vibes for making new things? I don't necessarily think I'll figure it out anytime soon, but it'll be interesting to see if something new happens. I feel like there's sort of like a change in the air, in the online space and in the world in general. So maybe it can be an option for some kind of revival. Something new and better, maybe? I don't know. One of the ways I found your work was the mock-ups for Chrono Trigger you did. Oh yeah, no, a lot of people found me through that. And I had a ton of fun making that one. Hell, I have a... on my wall is a printed out tweet by the director of Chrono Trigger sharing the Chrono Break trailer. Like, that whole thing meant a lot to me. But I can't imagine how I would be able to make a similar thing to that right now. I think maybe, maybe at some point, after Vikings is done, I can take the time and make like a little weird project or something that could turn into something else. But I think if I was going to do that, I at this point want it to be something of my own. Like I don't want it to be like a reimagining of an actual property that already exists. Like I have all those mock-ups for like a Breath of Fire 7 and all of that, which I've considered whether or not I should make one of those fake trailers with, but it's also I feel like I'll need some kind of incentive to have the gumption to do that. But who knows? Maybe if I have some spare time after Vikings is done, I can look at something weird. Though I have a few other things that I would like to take a look at once that's done. There's a lot of other D-pad projects that are in the pipeline that we have been waiting years to get back to. That, of course, I can't talk about, but they exist. And, or are we doing the sound effects now? Boop. And of course, there is, oh god, what is the name? There's also season 2 of Donny Friday that I at some point want to get to. Anyway, I'm gonna be playing this now. You probably heard it 1,000 times before, but I was there when it emerged out of its cocoon, so I'm gonna play this anyway, because I like it. Yeah! I've been listening to this all morning. I've been listening to it for... Has it been several weeks? I think it has been several weeks. It's been a while at least. Also, this sample in particular sounds so familiar to me. I could swear I've heard it in one of the Deep Forest albums. I think the developers are from the Netherlands, so maybe they've heard similar things to me. I'm not sure. There's at least something familiar there. Of course, if you haven't listened to Deep Forest, highly recommend it. Really good music. Also, the high key in this one was also used in Wario Land. I recognize the sample. I think it's a coincidence, but pretty sure that they use the same sound library. Then again, considering how much bizarre stuff that soundtrack sampled, it wouldn't surprise me if they have everything. I heard the sound skip and I was like, time to hit save! What is the stereotype for Amiga games? This is an Amiga game. I suppose for most people you don't have any context for what this is. This is an unreleased game for the Amiga called Moonchild that was uncovered recently, and it turns out it has a really good menu music. Thank you for confirming that. The thing is, that's kind of the stereotype for Amiga games, is they have what is called a horrid little man as the main mascot, and somewhere in the game is the greatest music you've ever heard in your entire life. Speaking of Amiga games, let's see. Kid Cleats. This is the SNES port, but I prefer it, actually, so I will listen to that instead. Let's see. Am I going to get an ad? That is not the whole soundtrack. I want the whole thing. There we go. I mean, speaking of horrid little man, I think Kid Cleats is the perfect example of that. Like, this is a main character. Look at this guy. Just incredible. I don't know. There's something really charming about that era. You could really just have whatever, and it was okay. I do really respect it in a sort of strange way, where it's like, it was okay for you to have a little goblin person as a main character. Like, that would not deter people from approaching your video game. Otis redrawn as a horrid little Amiga man. I think I have something similar. Where I will find... I drew this bizarre Otis at one point. Question is, where is he hiding? There he is. Like, if you need him to look more like a weird goober. I like that I very charitably called it Otis Abstract. I mean, he is kind of abstract, I guess. There you go. Horrid little man. Era the Acrobat and Dynamite Heady. Yeah. I feel like the original illustrations for those were, like, they kind of fit that mold, but if you've seen the Japanese box art version of Era the Acrobat, like, it was a... Like, in lack of a better term, it's really cute. see here. I'm just grabbing that real quick. Come on, where is it? Man. Search engines are great. Boy, how I love them now. Here, there he is. I don't know. I think it's kind of neat. I mean, obviously it has a bit of a Sonic Klonoa kind of vibe to it, but... I mean, there are times when I do genuinely prefer the original version, because there's something about the zaniness that is nice to keep. Crash Bandicoot is one of them. Like, every time you try to soften Crash Bandicoot's design, it feels like it kind of misses the point. The whole idea is that he's this, like... not necessarily all that 90s, but let's just call it, like, a bit of 90s edge to him. And he's supposed to be really goofy looking. And when you soften that down, and, like... make him just kind of a little quirky, that sort of misses the point. It's like trying to make a like soft and marketable version of Ren and Stimpy. It just kind of doesn't make sense in my head. And I mean, there are people that have like their own opinions on that. I'm not gonna speak as any authority on it. Like, take the redesign for the later games that came out. The artists for it are very skilled, and they're very good at what they do, so no disparagement there. But there are certainly characters that benefit more from that kind of clean style than Crash specifically. Like, there are other people on the supporting cast that I think work better for that look, but Crash specifically needs to just look like he came off of a bender and doesn't know where he is. Like, that's his whole character. There's like 4 brain cells total inside of his brain, and they are falling out as he's running. That's kind of his character. Alright, are we done with cleaning? I think we might be done with cleaning. Just outlining that a little bit more. I don't know. I think that's the thing with character design, is that it's perfectly fine to sort of have preferences about that sort of thing. So I try to be careful not to make it feel like I am trying to dictate how other people should feel about these sorts of things, but at the same time, I feel like this is one of those areas that I actually do have some stake in the game. So if I can sway things into a direction where I feel like this would be beneficial for everyone to sort of understand what works in character design, then you know what? I'll be a bit pedantic about it. Why not? Alright. I'm on a different screen. You can't see this. I am moving an arm because it bothered me that it was in the wrong place. I think this is a good position for it. Maybe a little bit too far. Let me try that again. Like that, maybe? This soundtrack absolutely loves this instrument. And I love that they love this instrument. The second you realize that this is an ocean game, it kind of makes sense why the music is good, though. There's a lot of those developers from that time period where you don't recognize how much stuff they did and just how much talent they had involved in a bunch of things until much, much later. I'm going to pause this for just a second because I want to play something that I discovered just today. So, when I started the stream, I played what I consider to be sort of a quintessential classic for anyone that's into chiptune, and that's Artificial Intelligence Bomb by Naruto. And it was like... It's like the quintessential chiptune theme. The thing is, I didn't realize that he was still making music today. Like, there was new music just uploaded a couple of days ago. And I found a concept soundtrack for a game. I actually don't think it exists. It's just like a Bandcamp thing. But something called Rats and Busters, and I love the tracks. It's just, there's so many clever little bits about where the notes are placed and everything, so I'm just gonna play it. It's 2 minutes, so... Snakestream, love your work. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. Well, glad you could be here. Alright, that is that out of the way. Last one. Let's see. Should I use the canyon bass maybe? Yeah, let's do that. We need this guy in here. Oh, there's so many good little details in this track. This one, though. Alright, that was it. Just a small concept album. I really like just the small details, the little flourishes, and the chord progressions are really, really good. Alright, back to Kid Cleats. Okay, time to sketch this thing. Let's see. I'm gonna move this a little bit closer just so I can see it properly. So, this is one of the few times you actually get to see what Mira's species actually, what makes it unique. It's the fact that their hair never stops growing. So it means that they're built to survive really cold weather. So if Mira wants kind of like a winter coat kind of a thing, then all she has to do is like not trim her hair for a bit, and it'll sort of sort itself out. She's looking like she just came out of hibernation. That's the neat thing. Like, she's very much active like this. But it's kind of like it's kind of like a practical thing. Like, yes, they are they're like a civilized people, so they can wear clothes and everything. So it's not like they need to do this, but it's like a leftover trait that in survival conditions, well, you can just grow your hair out and you'll survive dangerous things. It's like the opposite of a bad hair day. It's like, it's a good hair day because you get to live. This one's gonna be tough. I'm so curious if, for this drawing about the clothes, if the long hair will stay and cover what she's wearing. I mean, I feel like the focal point is the hair, so I'll definitely try to like make that the main element. I feel like it sort of counts as an outfit, right? I feel like this one will need a lot of corrections as I go. We will get there. Quite frankly, when I'm drawing this kind of style, which is like mostly line work and everything, I have to often consider, like, because I love adding details to things, but the rendering process for it, because it has to be so simplified, oftentimes I have to sort of change my mind in a lot of really strange ways in order for this to sort of fit together. I think that's also the weird thing about this whole project, is that to a degree, I mean not completely, but at least to some degree, this isn't necessarily my style. This is sort of like a facsimile of things where it's supposed to feel like something that might be familiar but isn't necessarily. So a lot of the things that I'm drawing don't necessarily come naturally, so I have to kind of go back and catch myself a couple of times. I also noticed that in this one, I kind of underemphasized her chest a little bit, so hopefully it won't look too out of place with putting these things back in. All the detail and everything. I think I tend to do that every once in a while because frankly I think the internet gets a little bit weird sometimes, so I tend to undermine sexual dimorphism a little bit if I'm like, okay, so I want people to actually look at the thing I painted and not just like oogle, I guess. It just sort of distracts from the whole conversation sometimes. I mean, what was it I talked about earlier, chat? Like incentives for making art. People make it weird, then it's not as much fun. Let's see. So she has the sweater thing on. And that'll stretch down like this, so it'll hang a little bit. And that'll go down to about here, I think. I kind of like how it gave her this sort of like bell shape. I am finding that weird shapes satisfy me a lot more in terms of design. I'm not a person that just designs humans that look like humans. Now, I have been making a lot recently, just because I've ended up sketching a lot of stuff, but my go-to is just to make weird-shaped people. That is where my joy truly lies. So in Mira's case, I just do that with the clothing for the most part. Because she is, like, for the most part, human-shaped. For the most part. Maybe I should have the arm coming out from, like, the tufts of hair. I kind of feel like that makes sense. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. Let's see, a few more head growths need to be added up here. Is this for a new game? No, this is just like a fun side project that I've been working on. If you want to see our new game, you can search for Vikings on Trampolines. That's what me and the team are actually working on at the moment. I mean, I can take a moment to show it to everyone if you haven't seen it before. But for now, no, this is just something that is an accumulation of a bunch of outfits that I've drawn for my character Mira over the past couple of years. So this should be the last one that I add, and then I'll take a look at coloring. Let's see, I also need like heavy ass sleeve on this one. Now where does that stop? It stops around here. That's where the collar ends up. Like that. Wasn't sure if it was an early stage of a new thing. I am currently in the early stage of a new thing, but I will unfortunately not be showing that on stream. Part of what I talked about earlier in the stream is that I unfortunately have to be a little bit careful about what I show. And while I would like to share more about the process at the moment, it probably would not benefit me much to do so. Alright, let's get some shoes on this lady. Let's see. Actually, these could probably be a bit higher up. So you need to be like roughly that chunky. Yeah. Yeah. Little bend fold. And then the soles of the shoes comes in like roughly around there. I think that's another thing that I just kind of had to decide as I was drawing this, because I realized that I had to draw Mira's feet. And I was like, this will be the only opportunity that I have if there's something like other non-human about her. And then I realized that, well, she probably has like slightly clawed toes. Like, not by much, but enough that it's visible. Because even though her design was just like, she started out as just like a red person, if I'm gonna keep drawing this character, I at least want there to be something that's like something about her. Maybe like a little heel. I guess that kind of makes sense. Or should they be flat? You know what? They should probably be flat. Because if these are... well, they're not snow boots per se, but they are closer to that than anything else. So just having like a little bit of a groove in there makes more sense than having heels. Then you can get stuck in the snow, and that would be no good. see. Then we got the fur in there. There, and then we add that little loop to the end. Something like that. These might not be chunky enough. We'll find out. Did I add, like, stitching? I think I added stitching. Yes, I did. Okay. That, like, big badonk thing. Oh, it actually goes all the way down. Well, pardon my French. So it goes like this. Actually, that works a lot better for what I was doing anyway, so. So, we got one of these, and we got one of these. Oh! It just occurred to me. Okay, so for context, the track that's playing right now, you're fighting what is essentially a parody of, I believe he's an Italian singer, Pavarotti, like opera singer. And I just realized this is a sped up, like, goofy version of the song that he's most famous for singing. I was just like, why is this track different? I was just listening to it, like a breakdown of how that whole chorus was constructed. It's just like, oh, that's what that is. He's a famous singer. Yeah, okay. It's just like, I don't want to presume, just in case it was incorrect, but I was pretty sure that he was Italian, yeah. I always forget what the name of that song is. Is it Encheron? Is that, or is that just a chorus? That is definitely the track that they're playing. It's just like goofified. I guess since it's classical music, there's you can do that. There's no way to enforce any kind of copyright on that. Then again, it's technically an Amiga platformer. I don't think they cared all that much about copyright. Does that make any sense? Like that fold? I think I'll do this. Like that. So if it keeps going, then that, yeah, it won't make any sense design-wise. Like, it's supposed to flip out. It needs to connect somewhere. Let's see, how far along are we on this thing? Yeah, it's alright. I feel like the heel needs to be a little further back for that shape to make sense. Let's see. So that should probably stop there, and then this comes in around here. See. And then this comes in here. Like that, maybe. And the soundtrack is so good, they even got the stank bass in there. Thank you, Ocean Composer. Oh yeah, chat. It's been a hot minute. Maybe it's time I shared something with you. See. Where is the... Let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. So there's this track in Final Fantasy V that I like. See, the thing about it is, if you listen closely, you can almost make out words. I mean, you gotta listen real closely for that, though. It sounds a little bit like this. I mean, the setup was obvious. You saw where it was going, but still took the shot anyway. Yep. Let's see. What do we have that I could just blast for a little bit? I have maybe like 15 minutes? 15-minute soundtrack, that's a... that won't be interrupted by random ads. Well, I'm going to play this one because it's a good one. It's John Joy Tay. It's a Mega Man 6 remix. Let's see. Well, there's that knitting pattern, so I gotta get that in there. I think that's the interesting thing about having to go in and look at these designs again. Because they are made entirely out of practical necessity of what the painting requires. So I haven't given much thought about how they would actually function. And thankfully, they don't seem to, like, break down spectacularly once I add them into a usable context, though I have a suspicion that they would be an absolute nightmare to draw. Certainly if this was an animated series kind of a thing, it would just be like the thing that I'm adding right now, which is like a knitted pattern, would just be woof. Can't even imagine having to do that every single time. And it's not even that it's particularly hard to draw, it would just be annoying. It's sort of like how modern designs, to me, feels like they are designed for, like, cosplayers or something. Because they're all unbelievably detailed with a bunch of, like, tiny little intricacies that are genuinely awful to draw. But maybe this would be like, these are all like cosplay outfits. Like if someone wants to dress up and spend an absorbent amount of money, a ridiculous amount of money recreating this, then I guess that would be its function. Very comfy outfits. I do actually think that most of these would be pretty comfortable to wear. Like, I'm not the type of designer that'll just put someone in a skin-tight bodysuit and just be like, yeah, that makes sense. feel like designs say something about the character on like a more subtle level. So being able to read something from what it is that they're wearing is, I think, is a benefit. Let's see, I have to shift this a little bit or else it won't align right with the hand. There we go. That little critter is actually long. Oh, yeah, no, these are, I actually don't remember what I called them. Did I call them, cat ropes? Something like that? But yeah, no, they grow to, they just kind of keep growing, but they're also really easy to domesticate. So, Mira is kind of like a wildlife expert, so it's a pretty common thing to, like, sort of befriend these to get through winter environments if you don't have something that can, like, cover your head. Bonus is that it doesn't actually hurt them. Just sort of like an exchange for food. Let's see, a irregular sized one looks like... I believe I had it here. Oh, come on. I know I have it here. Is it that far down? It's odd. Is it in my completion folder? Yeah, there it is. A regular size one looks like this. So, this is sort of what they start out. And then they just kind of grow longer and longer segments. That. Let me just take a look at it without all the extra fluff here. Yeah, that might need a little bit of an adjustment. A ton, just a little bit of it. Yeah, like that. It's a bit ironic that I'm sitting here listening to this, a remix from, I believe it's Pseudo Regalia, and I know nothing about that game. I just found this remix and I was like, this is good music, I will listen to it. To be fair, I feel like that's my sort of connection to a lot of games. Like, we just listened to the soundtrack for Kid Cleats, and I've never played it. I've seen people play it once or twice. I believe, very briefly, I maybe tried the, like, reskin game. They made a, like, Game Boy Advance port, what they call the Go Go Beckham instead, just to market to British football fans, I guess. But it's just Kid Cleats. Or Soccer Kid, I guess it's called in some territories. Yeah, that's usually my connection to a lot of games. I don't play a lot of them. A lot of times it'll be like, the greatest RPG ever made, and I know it for the music, and that's about it. What are these games you speak of? Oh, it's those things that parents say corrupt the youth and are a waste of time. I think that's what they are. Like, the thing that makes you not do your homework? Those things. I hear they're pretty dangerous. The devil's gateway drug. The devil needs gateway drugs? News to me. I thought he had those things on lockdown, but... in this economy. Yeah, I mean, it is tax season. Speaking of tax season, I do need to wrap up in just a few minutes. So once this track is over, I will start looking to wrap this up. I didn't assume that I would have this stuff done tonight, but it was mostly just an excuse to sit and chat a little bit and boop around with some Mira stuff. It's at least more entertaining than just sitting by myself and messing with some things. Oh boy, we got a raid at the most interesting time humanly possible. Hey everybody, glad you could join. How's everybody holding up? Got a good stream over there? What you been up to? Big chills. Oh, that's good. Sometimes you gotta do chills, you know? Well, for the past few hours, we have been working on documenting all of these outfits that this character has been wearing for, well, several years of paintings. So far we've come. We're currently adding one where the character Mira is just very hairy, I guess. Which is what you want to be. Prepping for events and anatomy study. Okay, okay. I mean, sometimes you have to be on that grind too. Should probably do some anatomy exercises myself, but... Hairy hair? This ain't no rabbit. But I ain't getting into that. Well, the unfortunate truth is that we were about to shut down the stream. I take Mondays off, but I got to do some work in the morning. So, unfortunately, it is 30 minutes to midnight, and I got to sleep. So, I think this is where we're going to be wrapping up. Sorry for all the people that joined. If you're feeling up to it a different day, then I might be able to do some more streaming in the next couple of days because I need a freaking break from game development. So just popping back on this over the next couple of days during the week would actually be really nice. So that could be a good time. Germany time? Yeah, I guess Germany has the same time as Norway. So roughly the same. Well, that will be it for this section. Well, it's been a pretty good stream. We've done about 3 hours worth of drawing. It's mostly cleanup work. That's honestly just how it goes sometimes. For the most part, I expected this to be a little long-winded, but the good thing is that we only have one left, and then I'll do some coloring. So, some quick updates for those that haven't been here and maybe have been a little bit out of the loop. So I'll do a quick summary, and then we'll wrap this whole thing up. Short thing is that for the past 2 months, things have been a little bit on the late side for Deep Studio and all the stuff that we've been doing, simply because of some stuff that I had to take care of. So if it seems like we've been a little bit quiet for like the past while, that's why. And we'll be ramping that back up this week. So hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit more of the stuff that we've been working on. In addition to that, I highly doubt that any of you are going, but I will be headed to Kyoto to attend Bit Summit. That'll be around, May 22nd, I think. So if you just happen to be in Japan during that time, well, then you can stop by and try out the latest version of some Vikings and Trampolines. We will have 2 booths, and I will be there in person. So I'll be able to speak a little bit more about that as we go along. Other than that, well, I don't really think there's much more to announce. The last thing is that, provided that I have the brain cells left after all the work that I've been doing, I will try to upload the remaining VODs that I haven't to the VOD channel, and hopefully you'll be able to see some of the progress that I did on a few other paintings there. They're not finished yet, so I'll be picking up the rest of the painting on that once I have the chance. Usually when I finish a painting, I put a progress video up, so hopefully once I have those ready, then I can just throw that together as well. Anywho, we're approaching midnight. I should really jump off. If I have the opportunity, then I will join back with you during the week. And if you're wondering when I'm live, either just follow me here, or you can just find me on Blue Sky or wherever else. It's Snakepixel on everything. You'll find me pretty easily. Anywho, thank you for being here. I appreciate you all, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!